welcome to INF. How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm also great. So, I want to start off by knowing that, what were the factors that, drove you into the show?
Well, I would say that I got a script back in so sometime in February or March of 2019. I got a script, and I read it, and I just thought, this is really good. And you end up reading a lot of TV pilot scripts, and a lot of them are not great. And you think, oh well, I'll just do this for the money. And in this case, I read it, and it was Robert and Michelle King, and I was familiar with the Good Wife, and I thought, oh, this smart, creative, talented showrunners, writers, and then I read the script and I thought, oh, this is a great idea. It's well written, and so ultimately, I just auditioned for it, and I was lucky enough to get the part, and then after I met Robert and Michelle, I had an audition with them in New York, and then that's how it happened, really.
But were there any factors on which you connected with your character Ben?
Yeah. Did I connect? I think that there probably. I mean, Ben is very different than me. He's much more of a realist. I mean, in terms of the fact that he is a true pragmatist, and he only believes in the things that he can see, smell, taste, touch, and so he doesn't believe in any kind of religious mumbo jumbo. He doesn't believe in anything that is outside of the realm of what he can quantify and prove. And so in that way, he's very different than I am. He's also very handy and can fix things. So he's very different than I am in that way. I can change a light bulb, or maybe fix the garage door or something, but that's about it. But he's so in that way he's very different, but there's an element of being sort of a counter voice, or disturbing the sort of status quo that I liked about him, and that I weirdly related to, and sort of found fun that he doesn't just take everybody's word as like he doesn't really believe David. He's not a religious person. Even Kristen, she's a psychologist. He doesn't really ascribe to psychology that much. He's a purist, and so it was fun to kind of find that overlap in myself. Where am I also somebody who enjoys punching holes in the balloon a little bit, and sort of which I can be that person when I am at some times. So I thought that was an interesting area for me to explore it myself,
And the show kind of questions the belief that we have, whether it's about science or religion. I want to know, did it make you question your beliefs, or what you follow, or what you have been, following since long?
It didn't really make me question my beliefs, because my beliefs are not that doctrine oriented. I have faith and in a larger power other than what we can see, and so in that way I don't find there to be an inherent contradiction between science and faith. I think religion is a different thing. Religion is a man-made construct that exists. But between the idea that there is something outside, a universal intelligence that is moving things, there's universal intelligence in charge of what is going on, that I can buy, and I can buy that also with science. I can also put those two things in the same space. That science is an element of that, or is an element of that universal intelligence, So it didn't really make me challenge my own beliefs per se, no.
Your journey of embracing your identity, like to come from India, Mumbai, while making your place in the West, when you were also, fighting stereotypes and
Yeah,
all the notions attached to people of color.
yeah. I mean, early in my career, I think there was a lot of that. There was, and it continues in some respects even today. And look, I think we are at a point now in history where a lot of these things are being challenged. A lot of these sort of stereotypes, ideas, of who gets to tell what stories and what stories matter. These things are now being questioned and challenged, and I think we're also seeing the economic and financial viability of telling stories of people who are not just white and not just white men, and the heroes don't always have to be white men, and so in the beginning, yes, there was a lot of, when I first was coming up in the business, there was a lot of stereotypes, a lot of playing the, what I like to call the patanking, which is like, the way the Westerners hear the Indian accent, which is like patang, 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 like they'd ask, so we used to joke about that, like that, oh, that's what it's called, patanking. And there was a lot of asking us to do that and sort of play those stereotypes. Less so, I find now, and I think, the culture has changed, Hollywood has changed somewhat. Still need a South Asian superhero. And that will be the culmination. That will be the point when that happens. Then I'll have nothing to bitch about after that.
And maybe that makes you stay true to your craft as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, like, look, I've just always been doing my work and just kind of always, I've done television, I've done movies, I've done theater, and I've continued to sort of just, this was the only, in terms of as a profession, I'm sure that my Indian parents were, incredibly disappointed. I know they were incredibly disappointed to realize that the only thing their son was good at was being a clown and being, and sort of just being a ham and kind of, acting and performing and writing poetry, which nobody reads, So, like, that was always just part of my DNA and what I was doing as a child, what I continued to do as an adult. And so I just kept on, I was lucky enough to study and go to school for this and then get work and, and there was no alternative for me. So it was like either I play the bus driver or the cab driver or the whatever, stereotype role there was, or I starve, and so in the early days, that's kind of what it was for me.
And I'm sure you made your parents proud, like, I'm pretty sure about that.
Well, I think ultimately, my parents did come around and were quite excited when I finally sort of, especially when I got on the Daily Show. I think that was a big moment for them. I was used to joke with my mother that I was her second favorite Daily Show correspondent. But yeah, I think ultimately they were proud.
I wanted to know, like, how are the plans going to, start the shooting for second season of Evil, considering Corona, this pandemic has, altered the reality of everything.
Right. We haven't started shooting season 2 yet. I know that the writers have written a lot of episodes already for season 2. So the writers have been writing, and that's great. We are waiting to find out when we can start. We would have started shooting already, actually around this time, but we're waiting. Obviously, everybody is waiting to see when it's really safe. When we want to be able to do it and do it as safely, obviously, and efficiently as possible. And so we're excited to get back to work at some point. I hope it's this year. Fingers crossed. But everybody's in the same boat in production and in Hollywood. And New York right now is actually doing pretty well, and so we just pray and hope that it continues on that trajectory. And and the numbers don't spike. And if that is the case, at least with Evil, I'm speaking completely selfishly, at least with Evil, the shoots in New York, at least New York production can maybe start up again in the next couple of months. I'm excited about season 2. I think it's going to be even. It goes. I've read the first episode of season 2, and I think it goes places that you wouldn't necessarily expect it to go. So that's exciting.
Okay. Thanks for talking, Aasif. It was great talking
Absolutely.
to you.
Thank you so much.
Stay safe.
Thank you. You too.